The normal calm of East Texas may be disturbed over the next few months with a federal court suit that was filed here today in Tyler by State Senator Oscar Mozzie of Dallas. Mozzie, representing several voters here in East Texas, has challenged the constitutionality of the redistricting plan of the House of Representatives. This one joins a suit already filed in Houston against the Senate districts and one already filed in Dallas against congressional districts. So, as some had predicted a year ago, the legislature worked on it and went into state courts. It's been through the Constitutional Redistricting Commission. Now it finally goes into federal court, hopefully for a final settlement sometime soon. We asked Senator Mozzie the basis for his suit. Black officials in Dallas have told me they also intend to go into federal court on this House districting plan. There also may be other groups, and they may all intervene in this particular suit filed here today. Senator Mozzie feels like he can get a settlement of this case within 3 months because a similar case was handled in 3 months in Louisiana just recently. The timing is critical because we already have residence deadlines, and then there are the filing periods in February for the May primaries. This is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News on the Move in Tyler.
to live with myself, I particularly wish to assist in certain projects bravely initiated by our citizens without guaranteed revenue, but rather only an abiding confidence in their city and this region. I must admit to you some degree of envy for that person who becomes the congressman for our new district. And I must say also that the outpouring of interest in and support, even in some cases from far sections of Texas, for my seeking other offices prompts me to be so presumptuous as to believe I might still truly ask for some other post at another time. But at the same time, I have absolutely no regret as a result of my decision. On the contrary, I am eager to work at trying to be a better mayor for Arlington than I have ever been before.
We attack it basically on the basis of deprivation of 14th and 15th Amendment rights under the Constitution of the United States, and that the deviation in population is too great to stand the test of one man, one vote.
Violation of what rights? In what way under the Constitution?
The due process of law guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States, as has been upheld in the many redistricting cases throughout the country, in that well, first of all, there's a crazy quilt system. Some counties have single-member districts, some counties don't. Some urban counties have at-large systems, some urban counties don't. It also, the suit alleges that the population deviation is larger than is necessary, that the districts could have been drawn to be more closely aligned in numbers and to have been more compact and contiguous than they are.
Frankly, Jim, I was shocked. I can't see how that we can take a weak, ill-conceived ordinance such as this when we've had months and months of study by our study committee made up of citizens. We've had a recommendation by our planning department. We've had a recommendation by our planning commission, and how we can take this weak, ill-conceived ordinance dictated by the sign industry.
Now, you're saying that Councilman Smith is merely presenting an ordinance that has been dictated to him by an industry?
Well, I think that this ordinance here was written by the industry. It actually favors...
He says, wait a minute, he says he wrote it over the weekend.
Well, let me just say that this ordinance favors the sign industry heavily, favors the sign industry. I think that we have an opportunity to go forward in the area of visual pollution, and we can control visual pollution. Why take a step backwards? This ordinance is not as strong as possibly our own ordinance that we already have in existence. We've had a number of sessions and study meetings, and I think that we ought to pass our present ordinance.
I found a bike rider. It's almost as bad as I am. It's the mayor. Hey, Mayor Wise, do you really think this is going to catch on in Dallas? Come here.
Well, Judy, I don't know. I don't believe I can. I'll tell you what, if you hand it to me.
You rolling? Mayor Weiss, do you really think this is going to catch on in Dallas?
Well, Judy, I think there's a good chance of it. We don't rank first. I think there's a good I think it's a good chance of it. I think this I think that the idea of controlling pollution plus having good exercise is a real good idea, Judy. I really do. I noticed last time I was in Manhattan that there are quite a few bike racks like at the Time Life building and the RCA building and so forth. I think it's a great trend. Now let's see if I can hand this back to you.
Whose idea was this, anyway? Back to you.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. There were two groups that came to see me at my Wednesday meetings, and I tried to get them together, and they did get together. I think it's worked out real well, but I don't know the exact names of the groups. This makes you a little breathless, doesn't it? You know, I said, oop, here, we better hurry here. You know, I said earlier that nobody can say we're not pollution minded. Last night we were down at City Hall after midnight on sign pollution. Today up at 7 o'clock on something to prevent air pollution, and then next week we're going up to Washington to serve on a panel regarding noise pollution.
What about places for bicycles to park? It ought to save a lot of space, but are there any accommodations for them?
I've heard talk that some of the new downtown buildings are going to have bike racks. This is something that I'd really like to look into. You know, it's another thing that about bike riding in this day and time, with these 10-speed bikes, it's not near as difficult. But it sure does get you out of breath, you see.
Which bike is that, by the way?
This is my little 11-year-old girls. I tried my boys. The seat was up too far. My feet won't reach the pedals.
You going to get one of your own?
It's not a bad idea. Might try that.
Thank you.
The police are about finished with their part of the series of raids yesterday. Now the problems shift to District Attorney Henry Wade's office, which will prosecute the people arrested in yesterday's series of raids on theaters and bookstores. Prosecutors historically haven't had much luck in getting jail sentences in pornography cases, but they're hoping to have a better average with the 39 arrests that were made yesterday. From now on, the ball passes to District Attorney Henry Wade, and I talked with him today about some of the problems he anticipates and about some of the strategies he'll use in court. Like most prosecutors, Dallas District Attorney Henry Wade is a little wary of Supreme Court rulings. Nevertheless, he would like to see police stay on the backs of exhibitors and booksellers until they're put out of business. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move in downtown Dallas.
Well, that's right. All of them so far have been real physical football games. I mean, I've taken a beating, I feel like, but really that's part of the game. And the Aggies are extra tough. They've got a lot of mean football players. They're big and they're strong, and they know how to play football. So it's going to be tough.
Well, you're sitting, or could be sitting, on top of the race. You're just a half a game behind Texas and Arkansas. That should give you some impetus at College Station.
Yes, sir, it will. I believe morale's going to be real good. If we've still got a chance to go to the Cotton Bowl, you know, everybody's going to be in there giving it all, and that's what counts, really.
Well, what about Gary Hammond, starting out at quarterback this year and had a few rough games? Your head's above the water now. You feeling a little bit better about it?
Yes, sir, I do. You know, we put in a lot of new things that I can do better than what we started out with, and it's helped me quite a bit. And I thank Coach Fry and the offensive line and all the coaches around here for that. But we've got 4 games left, and it sure would be great to win those 4.
We can now receive state funds for transporting these students. However, the legislation did not provide for the initial capital outlay in purchasing buses to be used for this purpose. There is operating money if the local school district can come up with the funds for purchasing the buses. We are proposing that the state provide capital outlay costs for the initial purchase.
We haven't had any trouble convicting these people in the past. Our problem has been that the juries have not been giving jail sentences, and that is really the only deterrent to this type of thing.
How do you hope to overcome this problem in the jury not giving jail sentences?
Well, this is a hard problem. It's a situation that we possibly haven't had the right jurors. We're going to try to get better juries, and these cases have been prepared better than our other cases, and we show the film to the jury. The difficult problem for juries is trying to see what the Supreme Court was talking about when they said to be pornographic it had to appeal to the prurient interest and be contrary to the conscience of the community and have no redeeming social value. You can see those are general descriptions, and juries have a hard time understanding. They know they think it's pornography. They want to know whether the Supreme Court would think it is.
Is there a chance that you'll be able to keep this stuff off the streets by a crackdown?
Well, we hope to. We'd like to get rid of all of it, because what we're dealing with here is entirely raw pornography. You do have arguments over some movies that may have some redeeming social value, but a lot of this doesn't have any voice. It's stag movies. Your nude pictures are in the sex act. They were taken, most of them are made in Denmark in those magazines. But I hope we can get all of this off of the newsstands and also close the theaters that are showing these films.
Since I've been on the council, there have been several complaints of inappropriate actions by members of the police department. We have, in each case, directed the city council has in each case directed an investigation of those complaints. And this is what we are concerned about, not any specific incident.
Have the results been satisfactory to you?
In my opinion, the results have been satisfactory, yes.
Did you have reason to believe from the conversation that the boycott has definitely been called off?
Well, he led me to believe that it would be that they would give us time to come to them or call our meeting, and they'll come to ours in a church or something, you know, where the blacks and the whites can get together and talk just like adult people, you know.
Have you had any contact from anybody who was trying to get the white merchants together?
No, I haven't.
Have you tried to do that?
I have, but it ain't been too successful.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I guess they're scared.
We know that Mr. Kelly is interested in one thing, and that's social changes. And helping these people bring about a chaotic condition in Dallas. But I have several letters from various lawyers that's even passing out petitions to petition the Bar Association to give this court some help and some relief, give the taxpayers some relief. The way this thing works, this big raft of lawyers they have down there, legal services, are on the public's payroll. Then they in turn file these class action suits against our local entities of government. Then we have to spend additional money defending the lawsuits, which in my opinion doesn't make rhyme or reason.
It came out in the press that some of the parties wished the city council or the mayor to get involved, and certainly at that point, at the point at which it became an untenable situation, apparently, to my viewpoint, I felt it was time to intercede. I then began meetings with Mrs. Baker and Mr. Vandegrift separately, and I saw that indeed it was an almost untenable situation, and that's when I began to consider bringing Mr. Zimmerman into the picture. That's his professional job, and I think he'll do a tremendous job at it. He's a highly intelligent, highly well-informed individual, as well as being trained in the matter of conciliation and mediation.
I think it's essential to the artistic value of hair. It depicts many things that the generation that we're showing believe in. Freedom, rebirth of a new and stronger country, the right to do, you know, your own thing, as it were.
How does the problem here, with or without the nude scene, compare with the problems you've had in other parts of the country in producing the play?
Well, you know, there have been problems in certain areas and no problems in others. We've been to court. We have been upheld by every court we've been to.
When I first got into it, I had a different picture of a police officer. This is totally changed now. I have the highest of respect for a police officer, and I do plan on going into law enforcement as a career.
I think they're searching for what they want to be. Like, they might think all their life that you want to be a stewardess or something like that, and they get into this exploring program that shows them all the aspects and then they really decide what they want to be instead of wasting college time or wasting, you know, just any time, and they find out really what it is, like a medical post. They find out everything, all the aspects of it before they waste time.
There's not a very clear understanding what the traffic between the Federal Republic and the western sectors of Berlin should be. And the eastern side tries to reduce what we have achieved in the four-power talks. This will not happen, but it takes time to tell them.
Do you feel that the wording is specific enough to actually relieve tensions?
Well, the whole thing has already relieved tensions. And the wording is very specific, more specific than we thought it will be.
Do you think it might get signed before Christmas?
Well, signed, I don't know, it might be, but it will be enforced together with the final protocol and the two treaties between the Federal Republic and Russia and Poland. So this will take a little more time, and it will be set in force, might be sometime in spring or around this time, you know. I hate to tell you the exact time and the date, because I might miss it for 1 or 2 hours.
Well, because this is the #1 tourist center of Texas, and about 90% of our customers come from tourists, and so it's obvious we should be here instead of East Thornton Freeway.
You feel that you'll do a better business than in Grand Prairie?
Yes, sir, I sure do. I think we'll do 2 to 3, 4 times as much business.
Why did you move from Fair Park?
Well, because of lack of space. We're in a building over there of approximately 20,000 square feet, and we have it so full that it's very difficult to even get through it. We can't add anything else, and there's so much that needs to be added.
Get a true picture of what it is to be a Dallas police officer.